So you're moving to Utah. These are the 8 things that you're going to want to know before you move here. So before you quit your job and pack your boxes, or before you hit that Google search looking for the best places to live, stop. We need to start right here with the conversation to make sure that you know what you're getting into before you move here. And the bottom line here is there are 8 things that you need to know before moving to Utah. These are 8 real things that are going to impact your life, and make sure that you know and understand them before you make that move. And these aren't just the Pinterest-worthy things that you see online, the beautiful things on Instagram. These are real-world things that you need to understand. And oftentimes, these are the things that people don't realize until they actually get here and live here. So if you want to get ahead of the curve and understand what people experience after they make the move here, this video is for you. And by the end of this video, you're either going to be more excited to make the move here, or perhaps you'll have that realization that maybe it's not the right place for you. And we're going to talk about everything from housing to weather to culture and everything in between. And we're going to talk about my personal least favorite thing about living in Utah, as well as the one thing that does influence some people to choose to move out of Utah. And the last one on my list, number 8, is completely personal, and it's the one that really changes my perspective as to what it's like to actually live here. All right, let's get into it. Let's start off with the one thing that really shocks a lot of newcomers. So you've seen the photos, you've seen the videos, and Utah looks like the most beautiful screensaver you'll ever find. And it is. But here's the thing. Utah doesn't just experience the 4 seasons that everybody seems to be really excited about experiencing when they move here. Utah experiences the 4 seasons in their extremes. In summer, you're going to have triple digits for many days. Now, typically, if you live along the Wasatch Front or in and around the Salt Lake City metropolitan area, the Ogden metro area, or the Provo metropolitan area, these areas are probably going to see about a week's worth of 100-degree days every summer. And sometimes in a really hot season, you might see that extend to 2 weeks worth or even 3. But if you live in southern Utah in the St. George metropolitan area, you're going to have to get used to 110 degrees. So Utah does live summer temperatures to the extreme, and maybe that's something you might want to consider when making the move here. Now, the cool thing about Utah is 100 degrees here is nothing like 100 degrees in a more humid climate. The dry heat is much more sustainable and more adaptable than that of a humid heat. So if you're coming from places that are really humid, it's probably going to be a relief, even though it could be hotter here. And on the flip side, in the wintertime, you're going to be scraping ice off of your windshield if you park your car outside, and you're going to experience temperatures below freezing. And in all of this, we get to experience the extremes and everything in between. Not just from winter to summer or summer to winter, but those fall and spring seasons can be incredibly bipolar as well, where they can tease you with 68-degree beautiful days in March, followed by 3 days later, a snowstorm that drops 6 inches of snow. So the best way that I can describe our weather patterns here and our seasons, you know what? It's the saying that I always hear in Utah. If you don't like the weather here, just wait 5 minutes. And there are many times where if you just wait 5 days, you'll get to experience the extremes on both ends of the spectrum. And so for many people, the first day they move here, they might be wearing shorts, and just a few short days later, they're experiencing their first snow. So depending on your perspective and what you're comfortable with, you have to be aware of the extremes that we get to experience here in terms of our weather and our 4 seasons. So what's the takeaway? If you are moving here, prepare for versatility. This might be layering your clothing in such a way that you are prepared, because in the morning, it could be drastically colder than the middle of the afternoon, and you're going to experience it all even within the same day. In addition to that, you might need snow tires or 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive in your vehicle for those winter months. Or in the summertime, you're going to need your sunscreen, because with the higher altitude that we experience here, it's all that much more important to make sure that we use sunscreen. And while Utah's beauty is experienced in the extremes, it's that very thing that makes Utah so attractive and appealing for so many people, not only living here, but moving here and visiting here as well, because that's what makes Utah beautiful. And those extremes also influence one of the greatest reasons why people choose to live here or move here, and that's the great outdoors. But that's only if you can handle this next thing. Utah is an outdoor paradise. Skiing, hiking, snowmobiling, UTVs or ATVs are a way of life here in Utah, as well as boating and hunting and everything in between. The bottom line here is it's all right outside of your back door, and within 20, 30, or 40 minutes, depending on where you live, you could be in the middle of experiencing something that most people never get to dream of. But here's what no one tells you. It's not just beautiful, it's also busy depending on the place and the time. Those same mountains that look empty on Instagram, on a Saturday afternoon, they can be really packed here in the state of Utah with so many people getting out to experience the great outdoors. For example, just about a month ago, at the peak and the height of the fall foliage season, there's a really well-known road here that's called the Alpine Loop. And when you drive that Alpine Loop, you get to experience some of the best, the greatest fall foliage on this side of the country. It is absolutely breathtaking. But that very road was actually shut down because it was too busy. Too many cars were trying to drive through the Alpine Loop because they wanted to experience that beautiful drive. And so, despite the fact that from downtown Salt Lake City, you can be in the middle of a number of canyons within 20 to 30 minutes, it doesn't mean other people aren't thinking the same thing as well. And I could share stories of my personal experiences in hiking or exploring the great outdoors, whether it be mountain biking or hiking or whatever. But the real truth is, if you get just a little further away, if you make it past that 30-minute mark, you're probably going to experience trails and the outdoors in a much better way, in the way that not most people are going to go that far. And so that's the way that you kind of work around these things. And as a local, knowing where to go is another crucial component. And if you're moving here for the nature and the outdoors and the beautiful scenery, you're absolutely going to fall in love with it, and you're going to pinch yourself every day as you look at those beautiful mountains. Just learn the local rhythm as to where and when to go so that you can actually get the best out of it that you're looking to experience. And for me, hitting those trails at sunrise or hitting those trails or the outdoors midweek is a great way to go if you can pull it off. And in addition to that, find those hidden gems that not everybody's going to. There are countless hidden gems here in the state of Utah that aren't overwhelmed like some of our national parks and other main attractions. Because the bottom line here is this is precisely where Utah over-delivers. If you crave adventure, this place will absolutely spoil you. But what really catches newcomers off guard isn't the landscape, it's the culture. Utah's culture is unlike anything else in terms of culture anywhere in the US. And that's both amazing and challenging at the same time. Yes, religion definitely plays a role here in Utah with the LDS Church and that church's influence, not only in settling this area, but building the communities throughout the state as well. The LDS Church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and the community that it is built upon is a big part of Utah's identity. But what people don't realize is that it's shifting really fast. Salt Lake City, Lehigh, Park City, these areas are becoming so much more diverse each and every year as so many people are moving in. And you'll find some of the friendliest people in the country here in Utah. People here are friendly. You're likely going to move in and you're going to have neighbors coming to greet you and introduce themselves and bring you cookies or offer or lend a helping hand. And one of the funny things that I experience almost every week when I'm with clients that are moving here from out of state, they're kind of set back just a little bit because strangers will actually wave at you here. And that's not something that you experience in so many other places. I've even had several clients make the move here, and literally within just days of moving in, they had neighbors bringing them meals. Now, to some, you might think that could look like a prank, but here in Utah, it's kind of a way of life. It's a way to get to know your neighbors, and it's really friendly, so hopefully you have that same experience. But on the flip side, if you're coming from a big city like New York City or LA, this friendliness might come off as a little weird. In other words, it can feel almost too friendly, if that makes any sense. Or sometimes, even if you don't feel like you're really fitting in, it can feel isolating as well. So with all of this said, here's the key. Lean into it. Get involved, join local meetups, go to the neighborhood block parties and everything that you are invited to get to know your new neighbors. Volunteer or attend events. Just all of these things will really help you integrate into not only your new community, but the culture here. And while Utah's communities run really deep, in other words, they're super connected, it doesn't mean you can't break into it. Once you're in, you're in. You just have to make sure that you make a little bit of effort to both accept what other people are doing for you or giving to you, but also to be a little proactive and to integrate yourself into the communities here. And while the people here are incredibly warm, the economy here in Utah is even hotter. Utah's economy is booming. They're calling it Silicon Slopes for a reason. Tech, healthcare, outdoor industries, financial services, all sorts of industries and businesses are growing, thriving, and relocating here. Because the bottom line is Utah is a hub for innovation. We have major companies not only starting up here, but major companies moving into the state, and with them bringing high-paying jobs or remote workers by the thousands. And the job market and the economy in Utah is incredibly strong, especially in and around Salt Lake City, Lehigh, Provo. But all of that growth does have a side effect. It does create some nuances that you might be concerned with. And while competition for these really high-paying jobs can be high, it doesn't mean there's not great opportunity here. Most people that are making the move here find better opportunities here in Utah than the place from which they're coming. And housing, that's where reality really kicks in. So let's talk about the truth about Utah's housing market, because this is the thing that shocks a lot of people. So look, Utah used to be really cheap, but it's just not cheap anymore. Over the last 5 years, prices have skyrocketed as Utah, as well as other mountain states here in the Intermountain West, have become incredibly popular destinations to move to. And some areas are even 50% more expensive than they were just 5 short years ago. That charming and beautiful $350,000 home that you could buy in 2018, today it's about $550,000. And with median home prices skyrocketing throughout the state, the demand for real estate and housing here in the state is higher than ever. We have such an incredible amount of demand, and while so much of that demand is actually suppressed right now with the higher interest rates, when the economy shifts and those interest rates come down, that demand will quickly come out of the woodwork and will spur more growth as well as real estate appreciation. And so in Utah, it's no longer about finding a cheap home. It's about finding the right home for you. In fact, next week, I'm going to be creating a video about the top places in Utah where most people are moving to that are coming from out of state. That might be a very relevant video for you to know where others are choosing to go, because in my opinion, if I were moving to Utah from another state, I think I would see a lot of value in surrounding myself in a community with other like-minded people who also made that same move, because it's kind of built-in common ground that we can start a new community and a new relationship with. So what's the trick? You have to look outside of Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City proper can get very expensive in certain neighborhoods. Most people that are making the move here, and I'll highlight this in my video next week, but the people are really exploring areas about 20, 30, up to 40 minutes away from downtown Salt Lake City. And these are the areas that are seeing the most growth from people just like you that are looking to relocate to Utah. And for me, as I guide clients every single day making the move to Utah, I really emphasize that it's not about finding the perfect home right out of the gate. The most important part is to find the right city, the right community, and the right neighborhood for you. Then we'll find you the right house. But even if you find your dream home in the perfect community, there's one invisible factor that might influence your decision. Okay, this one's real, and locals talk about it all the time. Utah's geography and topography in the wintertime traps the air along the Wasatch Front and really negatively impacts our air quality in those winter months. And there's a phenomena that takes place here that's called an inversion. And what that is, it's when the air inverts and the colder air gets trapped below the warmer air up above. And when that happens, the pollution that comes from our automobiles, from our factories, from our businesses and buildings, it gets trapped here along the Wasatch Front. And if it stays too long, it builds up and builds up and builds up to the point where it can get really bad. So the goal here is to make sure that the air is continually moving out of the Wasatch Front, and that happens with a really good weather pattern or a storm that can blow through. As long as that happens every week, we're in good shape. But if it doesn't for a couple of weeks, it can really start to impact our air quality. And on average, we experience about 14 to 17 days of inversion air every single winter. So watch for that, because it's something that a lot of people talk about. In fact, it's my personal least favorite thing about living here. And while I do have my workarounds, I have things that I think are great suggestions and good ways to get around recommend living here during those winter months? Number one, when those inversions are kicking in, get up in the mountains, go up the canyons, go skiing, go snowmobiling, go snowboarding, whatever the thing is. If you just drive 20 to 30 minutes up any of those canyons, or you go to the Park City area or Heber or a number of other areas, you're above the inversion. The skies are blue, the air is clean, and the weather, believe it or not, the temperature is actually warmer even though it's a higher altitude. And it's because of that inversion that happens where the colder air gets trapped below the warmer air. In addition to that, I think it's a great time to plan a staycation, whether that's in Park City or you go to southern Utah in St. George and get some sun and get some golf in the middle of the winter. There's good workarounds. You can even plan a vacation to get away. It's a really good way to work around our local biggest negative, in my opinion, which is inversions. And while inversions don't hit every single day or even every year, we do have years where we don't experience much of it at all. It is very noticeable and it's something to be mindful of. And in addition to that, if wildfires are burning in California or the Northwest, or even in Idaho or Canada, it can also affect our air quality in the summer months if that smoke comes this way, based on the jet stream and the weather patterns that are bringing that smoke here to the Wasatch Front. It seems like every few years we have one of those events happen where a wildfire in a distant state or even in Canada can really impact our air quality here for a little while in the summer months. Now, is any of this deal breaking? Well, it could be if you have respiratory problems, but for most people, it's not. It's just a matter of having healthy expectations and know what's to come and what to expect. And here's the flip side. Despite all of this that I'm sharing, Utah has some of the happiest and healthiest communities in the entire US. Okay, let's talk about community now that we're talking about some of the happiest and healthiest communities in the entire country. And in Utah, the thing that stands out to me and to people that are making the move here, wherever you choose to live, you'll find neighborhoods where people actually care about each other. And I mean that literally. So in the wintertime, if you get stuck, you're likely going to have a helping hand, no problem. If you're moving, you'll likely have neighbors show up with treats or food or even a helping hand. And for me personally, I look at this as this is Utah. This is the people of Utah, and it's these values that we share that hopefully you can find value in as you make the move here as well. Between family activities and your personal lives, as well as festivals and local gatherings, there's always something happening in pretty much every part of the cities that you might move to. And if you're willing to join in, you're going to really feel part of the communities as well. If you're moving from somewhere more individualistic or a little more isolating, this can be refreshing, or it can be a big adjustment depending on your personality and whether or not you're an introvert or more of an extrovert. But it's this sense of connection that really will make Utah feel like your new home. And ultimately, it's what turns transplants into Utahns. Now, I've saved this last one because it's personal. Okay, so let's talk about lifestyle, because not everybody moves to Utah or views Utah as an incredible and fun place to live. And the truth is, a lot of people make the move to Utah thinking this place is beautiful, we're going to have a perfect quality of life, and everything's going to be perfect. But we all know that's simply not true. What so many people do not realize is that Utah will reflect your lifestyle right back at you. In other words, this state will magnify who you already are. If you're really isolated and you're not willing to get out there and to experience not only the people of Utah, but the places as well, you're not going to love this place. I can tell you that right now. But if you love the beauty that this state provides, as well as the beautiful people that live in it, you're going to thrive here. And Utah will give right back to you and reward you in every way imaginable. And look, the lifestyle here in Utah is not for everybody. For example, if you crave nightlife or anonymity or whatever, this might not be the place for you. And you might be left feeling like you're swimming upstream. And so for many people, Utah might feel like a little bit of a disconnect depending on where you're coming from. If you're used to coming from a big city where you're not actually able to experience the outdoors, this might be a really refreshing unplug and actually connect with the real world in a way that just is unmatched. And I think that's what Utah provides. It provides you the opportunity to plug into a new lifestyle that maybe you've never experienced before. And I believe this thoroughly. I believe that Utah doesn't change you, it just reveals who you already are. If this is the right place for you, we can make sure that we ask the right questions to make sure that this is the right place for you before you make that move. And so these are 8 things that you have to know before making the move to Utah. And if this is the type of content that really does help you, I would appreciate it, if I've earned it, if you would hit that subscribe button. It helps me tremendously, and I noticed that about 94% of people watching are not subscribed. So if this does help you, please hit that subscribe button. It helps me tremendously to reach out and find more people just like you. And if you are considering making the move to or within the state of Utah, if you're looking at buying or selling real estate, reach out to us. My team and I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. This is all we do every single day, is help people just like you. And look, Utah can change your life entirely as long as you're well prepared. That's why we're here, to make sure that you're best prepared, to make sure that you're not only moving to a place that will work for you, but to land in the right place within the state as well. And drop a comment below. Let me know where you're watching from, because I love to see where people are watching from all over the country and even the world. And when you're ready to reach out, you can find my contact information in the description below to reach out to me and my team. We'd love to make sure that we help you and guide you. You can also book a video call with me in that link that you'll find on the pinned comment on this and every video. And if you're looking to learn more about life in Utah, check out this playlist next. And until the next video, thanks.